Good evening and welcome to the monthly mystical. I have an eye issue. It's really disturbing, so my makeup's probably everywhere, but hey ho, never mind, it's all good. Yeah, it's really annoying me. It's like something in my eye, so this might be a problem. Anyway, let's get rid of the rock and roll. Right, so this evening we have the wonderful Suzie Quarterly. I'm going to let her introduce herself, as she has many faces and many pies. So let us get going. See, I'm not going to rabble on this today. Hang on, I might rabble on for a couple of seconds more, just while I change my banner. Don't forget, before we start, please like and subscribe to the channel, because it all helps us to grow and to get many more amazing people and lovely content on this channel. So please do like and subscribe. Like every video you've ever seen of me. Just saying. Okay, let's go. So, here we go. I will get rid of all the bits. And add to the stage. Ooh, let's go double. And good evening, Suzie.
Hi.
Lovely to see you.
Good to see you too, Jackie, and everybody.
And how are you this evening? Everything good?
Oh, good. Yes. Yeah, the sun's been
Wonderful.
out today, so I'm happy.
I was just telling everyone I've got a dodgy eye and it's really, really irritating me, so I'm not crying. I'm literally something in my eye. Plus, I've been cutting up bits of chili as well, so that's probably gone in my eye as well. So just ignore my eyeballs. Hey ho, it's the usual for me. Right, there's always some sort of misfunction. Anyway, so please introduce yourself, Suzie.
I'm a crone that runs a successful moot in West Byfleet in Surrey, although I lurk around the Huntingdon area a lot. So some people think that I actually live up there. I'm a witch. First and foremost, I'm a witch. But I do muck around with the druids from time to time, and have been doing for, I think it's 12 years. But you know, who's counting? And some people have actually described me as being shamanic, which I'll own that one as well.
And so you should.
Yeah, I'm a thinker, so I see things and hear things, and it might take me a little while to say, I don't think it works quite like that, or have you considered? And tonight's talk is a little bit like that, you know, lots of little things that have been brewing for a while, and I've tried to put it together as a talk. I don't know how cohesive it is, but if it's not, it's not.
Well, we'll soon find out.
Yes, I can be found at various pagan gatherings during the year, often speaking about shit, you know, the way it is. But sometimes I'm just there for the fun and the learning. I love all the talks that you get at the conferences, and and that there's always something to learn. So yeah, I put myself about a bit.
Good. That's what we like to hear. Right. So, okay. So let's get cracking with the talk. Just tell us what it is you're quickly chatting about, and then just rabble on, and then we'll
Right.
go from there. Oh, and if anybody wants to ask any questions, please put them on there, and I will do my damnedest at the end to ask them all after for you. Okay. So, oh, and say hello if you're there. Come to say hello in the chat. That would be great. Right. Carry on, Suzie. Done my rabbling.
Right. Spirits of place. Do we really work with the local energies that we call spirits of place? Or, Jackie, you got to change the screen again.
I know, I'm doing it. Hold on.
Or do we just give lip service to the fact that we work with the spirits of place? I think an awful lot of times they get wafted over. You're not doing well with that, are you?
No, it worked well the first time we did it. There you go.
So when you go somewhere, do you get feelings about it? Does it feel pleasant, busy, spooky, unwelcoming? The list of feelings we can get go on and on. Sometimes we leave when we leave, we might take a token, stones, leaves, or even a photograph to relive that sensation and tune into those energies of these are the energies of the spirits of place. The term can just refer to the feel or atmosphere of the place, but in pagan circles usually refers to beings who help create that atmosphere. These beings may be elves, fae, dwights, dryads, animal spirits, deities, or those from our world who have passed over. I do think the living can add to the atmospheric spirit too. I know of 2 locations our group use. One's indoors and the other is a private woodland. And at both places, the energies have changed over time and usage. The village hall is, of course, open to influences from other users, but it always seems to welcome us. Sometimes the spirits even join in by opening doors or windows at appropriate times. The woods are quite private, and we're the only regular users. The energies seem to build. Now, were the 2 does that appeared at one Sabbath coincidence? It's a woodland after all. Or were they conjurations of Ellen of the Ways, who would have been quite an appropriate goddess in the circumstances? Spirits abound. They are with us everywhere and always. Some are very attached to places. This can be because of attachment during life on this plane, or for any reason they like. They can be anyone. When we enter homes of friends, we do so with their permission. We ask if we should take our shoes off and other points of etiquette. In doing this, we are offered hospitality. Would you like a quick cup of coffee, etc.? How do we do this honestly in pagan ritual? We call in deities and ancestors, guardians of the directions and the elements. Possibly other kingdoms such as stone people, starseeds, and the creatures of the oceans. And to begin with, we waft incense, frequently sage, white sage. even at white sage, even to clear what doesn't suit us. At some point, we might utter, "We thank the spirits of place for allowing us here today." We need to rethink. This space belongs to them, and we need to ask permissions first and foremost. I don't know how many rituals I've been to where they've hardly been mentioned. Also, I feel we need to appraise our smoke cleansing intents. I might not like my friend's farty old dog, but it's her companion and not my place to evict it if I want to natter and a cuppa into her house. It's the same when cleansing ritual space. The resident Genius Loci might actually enjoy the mischievous imp in the corner. Poet Alexander Pope once wrote, "All must be adapted to the genius of place, and beauties not forced into it, but resulting from it." This quote is taken out of original context, but I feel it's very appropriate for what we pagans do. We need to take the energies of the Genius Loci and work with that, or even better, blend with that energy. Reiki healers will understand the concept of being Reiki rather than just using it as a commodity to pick up and put down at will. You are constantly in the zone and can automatically direct the energy as easily as breathing in and breathing out. Similarly, the druid relationship with the Awan is to blend into the energy stream and become it. In their case, it would seem that they become amazing poets, musicians, and wordsmiths from the energy of their Genii Loci. So what happens when a motley bunch of witches rock up to do something? Out comes the sage, which is lit and wafted around. Let's get rid of all the unnecessary, unwanted energy. And we'll create a circle by splashing salt around to mark its boundaries. You four, call the quarters to create watchtowers and guardians. And who wants to invoke the deities? I'll call the ancestors. And finally, you can do spirits of place. I know you're new to all this, but all you have to say is, "Spirits of place, we ask your permission to perform our rites here today." End of. How does it sound? I bet some of it is familiar and hits a raw point. And I bet some of it you're thinking, maybe we need to change. And that's already when the talk is only 10 minutes in. Many other cultures have everyday relationship with their Genius Loci. Everyone pays respect to them. And I was particularly impressed during my travels in Thailand that every building had a beautiful little shrine for the ancestors and spirits of place, often not as big as a small bird cage. It's fashioned like one of their traditional buildings, painted gold, with fancy jewel-like embellishments. They never have problems with unwelcome spirits, because soon as one turns up, they are guided to the spirit house and told if they use it, they will be looked after. Every day, candles are lit and offerings of food and drink are left. And whilst a tin of strawberry Fanta is a bit incongruous, I'm sure there's a reason it's not a small shot glass, and that the passerby is unaware of these reasons. but it could be such as a birthday of one of the ancestors, or something quite practical. You took the glass home to wash up and you forgot to bring it back, so you got the whole tin. Who knows? If nothing else, it's a great insect trap to prevent the mozzies invading the main house. I'm not saying we should all do this, although I must admit to being tempted to have a Thai spirit house in my back garden. What I mean is that we need to be more aware of these spirits and work with them so we can achieve more and so we can be in the right mind about our actions. What I am leading to is what is commonly but incorrectly called smudging. The process of smudging is a Native American process and a ritual in its own right, very sacred to their beliefs. It does involve burning native herbs as a cleansing act, but there is much more to it. For us to refer to burning white sage at the start of our rituals as smudge is quite wrong, because we only do a small part of the procedure and don't really understand the rest. This is how we get accused of cultural appropriation, or misappropriation might be more accurate. I believe that what we do is similar to the Scottish practice of seining, so we could use the word seining or smoke cleansing instead. The Native American use white sage because it's local. White sage is not native to the UK, so why do we use it? To try and clear energies that are local. Would it not be more effective to use something that is local? Saging is not so much to drive away unwanted energies, but to cleanse them. And in many American, not just Northern American practices, sage is an offering to show gratitude and that you can come in peace. Using smoke to cleanse the auras or energy fields of participants is great, but I have seen it used frequently to clear space and basically tell the spirits of place to go away. We need to use smoke to cleanse ourselves so we are fit to keep company with deity, Genius Loci, ancestors and wise ones. Cleansing before a ritual is quite commonplace with a lot of spiritualities. Even the Roman Catholic hand in the holy water and the sign of the cross is a token cleansing. The Muslims have bathing places to cleanse feet, hands, face outside many of their mosques. The mosques I've been to are mainly outside this country, so I don't know quite how they work in this country. If we are not using white sage because it's not native, what would we use? Well, native sage is fine. So are any number of native plants such as rosemary, lavender, lemon balm. Make your own smoke cleansing bundles from herbs. Pick them, bind them, hang them up, wait for them to dry. Job's a good one, and a fraction of the price that you'll pay in any shop for imported smoke cleansing bundles. Mugwort is probably the easiest to source, growing wild in so many places, especially roadsides. It's quite frustrating to need some and be in a traffic jam alongside large swathes of it and not being able to jump out and harvest some. However, when you do find some, it's worth taking a good bunch. You might be able to root a bit to have a private supply or gather some seeds. It's prolific, so you won't denude the countryside by taking a large bunch. I've got, because it's dying off now for the winter. I have got a large vase full in a corner of my lounge, and some of the bits that I've got, it must be 2 foot long, and it looks okay as a decoration. It's dried out, and I did try and root some, but it didn't work. But I have successfully rooted wormwood, which is very, very similar to mugwort. So I know it can be done, just like you do mint. You leave it in a glass of water forever and ever, and it sprouts roots. So it's dying back at this time of the year. So if you see some, it's worth grabbing some to see you through the winter. My large vase of it in the corner of the lounge, it's great because it acts as a warding as well as it's a source of mugwort whenever I want some. Mugwort not only cleanses but can affect consciousness, your conscious state, which is sometimes great and just what you need in ritual. It's a component of witch's flying ointment, which is used for journey work and hallucinogenic trips when mixed with fly agaric, which is very poisonous. Don't try it unless you know what you're up to or you've got a minder with you. But be mindful of the fact that mugwort can be can influence the consciousness, especially with children around. One of our moot did have an incident with her young son when cleansing the house with mugwort. So just be mindful of it. So whilst talking about the use of indigenous aids within our practice, I'd like to address the habit of leaving offerings. We need to be very mindful of the areas we're working in. Whilst lavender might generally be native to the UK, leaving bunches of it as an offering to the Genius Loci on heathland is actually threatening to the habitat, as might leaving conkers or acorns. And I had this conversation just last night with someone who said, oh, but it's all biodegradable. It's not the fact that it's biodegradable. It's the fact that these are seeds, and if they seed and create new plants that are not in keeping with the area, you're disturbing the biostability of that area, and you will be pissing off the local spirits of place, because they will be working with what is natural to them. Excuse me. Crystals that we don't know the chemical composition of could be harmful, whilst a one-off will be of low significance. If everybody did it, you could be putting your poisons into the land. You don't know whether there's copper, lead, even arsenic in some of the crystals that we've commonly used, all of which could kill off the vegetation and denude areas of natural beauty. And while we're at it, there's I mentioned salt earlier, a salt circle. Salt kills a lot of stuff. And if you do use salt, it's probably better as in a solution as brine. As I said, using these things are not being mindful of your spirits of place. Spirits of place include the ancestors, guardians, and deities. So why do we call in others, often fawning over them, yet give a mere nod to those indigenous ones? Whilst I do feel it's fair to honour deities who reign at specific seasons, such as Bridget and Mulk or Ceres at Lunasa, it's also as important to honour local deities. How would you feel if a friend popped in to chat and spent the whole time telling you how great someone else was and what a great place they had, and they had the most wonderful biscuits from an expensive supplier you couldn't afford? You probably wouldn't ask them again. And this is what the Genius Loci could be feeling, except there's no door for them to keep you out. However, I bet your rituals and workings would go with more oomph if you did acknowledge the spirits of place more. In fact, I wouldn't mind betting that a great many of witches haven't a clue who the indigenous deities are. Have you heard of Nodens, Coventina, Belisama, Socellus, or Abandinus? Oh, I can never pronounce his name properly. I know exactly who he is. He's a water god from Huntingdonshire, from Godmanchester in Huntingdonshire, that doesn't really exist these days except as part of Cambridgeshire. Aberdinus, got it. All have dominion over a small part of England, along with a book full of other deities. There are literally hundreds. Yet, asking people to name 2 or 3, and they haven't a clue. If you ask them if they've heard of Sulis, they say, oh yes. They know who Sulis is because she's the face of a lot of the tourist attractions in Bath. if you wanted to learn more about the local deities, Rachel Patterson has written a book. It's Pagan Portals, and it lists many. The book itself doesn't go into great depths about these deities, but it's a great introduction. Not all deities have a lot known about them, but it's not impossible for you to find out about them, and that's probably the subject of another talk sometime. What I'm saying is that calling in spirits of place is often all we need, without the rigmarole of calling in others. All right, in just calling in spirits of place, I'm doing several people out of a speaking role in a lot of pagan rituals, but the ritual is about effective communication between us and spirits. So it's also good to be aware of specific wildlife prevalent in the area where you're working, because this is the part of the energy that creates the spirit of place. The correspondences should be what they mean to you. I see a specific ancestor when I see a single crow, and another in a butterfly. I don't care that the books tell me to associate the Morrigan with COVID, but of course she does sometimes turn up in similar guise, and that's up to me to interpret. Stand in your own light and go with your feelings, which might well be generated by spirit. Work with the wildlife as much as you work with the unseen spirits. I now want to move on and consider other areas where we work with spirits of place. Temples and altars. These are places where we are often the ones putting the spirits there. They have a parallel with the Thai spirit houses mentioned earlier, except we dedicate them to whom we want. The spirit houses are a kind of come all ye. Let us first start by reminding ourselves of where we stand in the pecking order of things. We are able to command some spirits to do our bidding, but there are plenty of free spirits who will do what they want, and also those that need a bit of a bribe or offering first, like the Fae. Some feel deities are to be devoutly worshipped and petitioned when a favour is asked. Others see them as working partners to discuss things with, and I fall into the latter category, and therefore altars have never been a priority, though to see my living room now, you wouldn't believe it. Firstly, when setting up an altar, you're working in an area that already has spirits of place. Would it be a good idea, if your home were built on the site of an old abattoir, to put up an altar to Ellen, the deer goddess, even if you're a meat eater? There are times when we ourselves have to work with the energies, even if we don't like them. But going back to Alexander Pope's quotation, we need to take what is there and create beauty from it. So the foundation of our altar in such circumstances should be one of memorial and thanks to the spirits of these animals for feeding us and giving us leather clothing. We shouldn't be trying to clear the space of those energies with smoke cleansing and asperging, sound and other techniques. We need to acknowledge and work with those spirits. It is then that we have made peace with them, that perhaps it would be okay to invite Ellen of the Ways to join us. However, we are talking about a native spirit here, one that is free roaming and liminal character. You can't contain such a deity, if you can contain any deity, that is, and your altar would serve because you want and need it, not because the deity does. You need it as a focal point to focus on one who you need to call on, and they may or may not be present while you are working. The same goes for temples. Our practice these days allows for transient temples, gazebos that are taken to various events, 1 week here, another week elsewhere, and for a lot of winter months packed up into a loft or garage space. I think these serve a great purpose at pagan gatherings, but whether a permanent site or in someone's spare room or elsewhere, or somewhere less permanent, the deity is not a constant presence and will come when called if the spirits of place are in agreement. The permanent space is more likely to attract at least a semi-permanent presence, depending on the deity called. It is the Genius Loci who are more likely to be working with you, and it's their will to summon up your patron deity. So don't forget to keep them sweet and on your side. I am now going away from notes and want to tell you about last Sunday. I discovered, well, I knew it was there. I finally made my way to Flag Fen, just outside Peterborough. I was hoping to find a certain deity there, but I was actually quite blown away by the energies, and it's going to take me a little while to process it. And it was an extremely atmospheric place. I wasn't ready for the atmosphere. The archaeology points to it having been a place of spiritual devotion. The resident team of workers there were not very spiritual themselves. It was all headology. The evidence stated this, that, and the other. No, they didn't have any names. And we don't know who, if anyone, was worshipped there, but there were lots of items which could only have been offerings. And it was at about that point that in the past the River Nene stopped being tidal, and the Wash came up almost to Peterborough. The North Sea came up almost to Peterborough, in other words. So to have that amount of offerings made, I felt that it was quite it must have been quite a significant deity that was there. And some of the old deities, their energies are still around, and I would love to get a team of people. I can think of several people I'd like to ask to come and just meditate there. The spirits of place are there in their hundreds. There are lots of them, so you're tuning into them and finding out what's going on would be a great pagan project to undertake. There was a deity I was hoping to find. I'm not going to name them, because it would be great to hear from somebody saying, I've been there several times and I have connected into, and it would be great if it was the person that I'm thinking of, goddess. I've worked with a spirit I've got to know in a woodland glade in Hertfordshire. I'm not going to say exactly where, because of that. I don't want everybody charging off and ruining the energies. And to be able to connect with spirits and get answers is just so rewarding. And one of the things I did was I put I wanted to know something about a river that runs through Norfolk that I thought might be connected. And I put some answers on bits of paper, turned them over, and I dowsed with a pendulum. And I got an answer. The next day, I repeated the process, and totally blind, and I got the same first and second answers. So there is, in my mind, there is something that wasn't coincidence. That meant to me that very much I was on the right path. And if you slow down and do work with spirits of place, you can get some amazing results. So don't just dismiss them in half a sentence when you do your rituals. Honor them and put them first. And with that, I will say thank you for having me.
There we go. Wow, that was amazing. Hang on, let's go bigger. Whoa, I'm a big. Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Susie. That was lovely. That was really interesting. Yeah, lots of lots of things to think about, as there always is whenever anybody's on. If anybody's got any questions, please do fling them on in the chat, and we shall ask Suzie as we go. So while we're doing that, here says Esom. Okay, I'll put it on there. Right. So what was I? Oh, there weren't really questions. They were just kind of, yeah. When you were saying about kind of near the beginning, you were saying about when you go into like village halls and things like that, and you do your rituals or whatever it is you're doing there, but you're still finding that the energies are nice and they're pleasant. My theory on that is that you've had those spirits and that connection there, and it stays there, doesn't it? In my personal opinion, the energies and that stay there, ready for the next time that you get ready to call them, if you like. So in my field, it would be say the earth spirits, and they'll be there ready for you to call them again the next time that you ask for their help. I don't know, what's your theories on that? If you understood what I meant.
Yeah, I think the more you use a place, the more you imprint it with your energies as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's just reminded me of something else. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, so and it's the same with woodlands, but the village hall has got it's got the kids' ballet class on Saturday morning, and the judo class on Wednesday nights, and so it's got an awful lot more going on. The more comings and goings, and everybody who uses it will be imprinting. But there will also be the historic spirits. And also, you're talking about the village hall with the ballet classes and that. And and the amateur dramatics and everything. You've got the spirits, the guiding spirits that have brought people to want to be a budding actress, to want to be a budding ballet dancer. In shamanism, your ancestors are not all necessarily your bloodline. If you've got a talent, the person that you might have always wanted to be a ballet dancer. My heroine, when I was a kid 65 years ago, or no, more than that actually, was Margot Fontaine.
Wow.
So had I really wanted to dance, perhaps she'd have been, if I'd have got the talent of a ballet dancer, you could have said that she was an ancestor. The fact that she was an influence probably, and teachers, the teacher who taught you how to play the piano properly, the teacher who inspired you to become a physician, or they have got a place in your ancestral talent line. So you will find that type of spirit of place in a village hall where, as I say, you've got the Saturday morning ballet class.
Yeah, for sure. There's a particular story when we were decorating our living room, and this is just what you mean about imprinting. So the imprints, they'll go on for from whenever the place is built. So you've got we when we decorated our living room, we found there was 10 or 12 layers of wallpaper, and every single layer you could just feel like it was a bit bizarre, really. I mean, obviously it wasn't all peeling off like that, but it really felt as if you were peeling away all those energies, and some of them weren't very pleasant. So when we got to the root, to back to the wall, that you could feel this, like this. It was a bit like going. It was really, it was like that, because the room must have been, it was felt like it was closed off, and then once we got rid of all that wallpaper, it was like, oh, I could breathe again, because that had got rid of some of that, whatever, different energies from the different years and the different people, whoever was here before. It was That's how I perceive it anyway. But that's me. Yeah. So it's like layers of an onion, isn't it? Everything's like layers of an onion. You implant
Yeah,
something,
yes.
especially when you do a ritual. Once you've done that ritual, if you do it with intention, once that intention is there and it's solid, you can't just do, oh yeah, let's read from the script, blah, 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 and then expect something to work.
An awful lot of people do just read from a script.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with reading from the script. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you don't have the intention behind what you're doing and doing it with that, it's like as if you're going to die tomorrow unless this works. That's the kind of feeling you've got to have in a ritual. Otherwise, it's not going to work, because there's just not enough power in there, regardless of your scripts and all the other bits. You've got to have the feeling and the intention behind that, in my opinion. We have a question from Isam, who says, I'll put it on there. Can you read that? Can you see that?
I imagine motivation is key, along with respect. I tend to tread lightly and doff my cap.
Oh, it wasn't really a question. Sorry.
If it works for you, yeah, the motivation along with respect. Respect for teachers is, whether they're spirits or not. Not all spirits are teachers or even worthy of respect, to be honest. You've got you've got the good, the bad, and the ugly in spirit world.
Yeah, that's true.
Politeness, there's respect and there's respect. She's kind of, yeah. Hello, Mr. Axe Murderer.
I'm sure he's sorry now.
Yeah.
That's the way.
If you don't mind, I'm not going to linger. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
When you say motivation, Isam, I think that's kind of what I was pretty much saying. You've got to have the intention. You've got to be, you've got to want it to work. Otherwise, nothing will work, will it? Doesn't make any sense otherwise. You're just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Intent is the all.
Yeah, Isam says right. Yeah. Yeah, so you've got to have that. That's a lovely friend of mine called Mike Croson says, magic is 90% intention and 10% magic. So you have to have that.
Yeah. With that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's how it works. What did she say there? I need to put it up there. Respect as in the place, the time. Okay. Yeah. Respect as in the place and the time. Oh, okay. I'm assuming you mean
Well, you don't go leaving litter in respecting the place. It's what I was saying about offering.
I suppose that's respecting your the place where you're at. Yeah, would make sense. Of course.
The physical place. It's not leaving things that not leaving plastic crap and lighting candles that are going to burn down historic oak trees in Glastonbury is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true. What else did I put down here? I put down need to be involved. Oh, I don't know what I was writing. I don't know what I wrote there. Oh, I think I was going back to my intention thing. Yeah, I've already said that one. Yeah, so, yeah. Has anybody else got any questions just before we pop off? Suzie, are you going to do another talk for us before we pop off? Didn't you say that you had something else that you wanted to chat about?
I will think about doing one for you next year, early next year.
Okay, January it is then.
No, it won't be January.
Okay.
I should be celebrating my 75th birthday in January, and I might be taking more than the odd afternoon for an afternoon tea.
Ooh, a whole month of celebration.
At least, yes. I do a lot of talks. The thing about putting them online is once they're online, I can't hoik them round the. I can't
hoik them first and then put me on.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
But I do have a lot, some of which are have been round the block a few times, so that they can then.
Great. We'll have some block ones, some of the ones around the block. What Isam says, Suzie, did you ever go to the what?
Roll rights. Yes, I love the roll rights.
And do you ever feel comfortable? What is that? Explain, because I don't know what that is.
This is a stone circle on the Warwickshire-Oxfordshire borders.
Okay.
And about 5 miles down the road, there's Hook Norton Brewery. But there's somewhere for the for the non-believers to go and drown their sorrows nearby, which, on a family day out is sometimes worth a consideration.
I'll have to write that down. I can't. What does it say? What's it?
The roll right stones.
Roll-right stones.
There are. I live most of the time. I live just outside Woking. There are Bronze Age burial mounds a mile out of the centre of Woking, and actually they are on. They are in alignment with the roll rights. So, yes, I felt very much at home there and comfortable. I helped do conservation work on the Woking barrows when I was a lot more mobile than I am now. So I connected very well with the Woking barrows, so it didn't surprise me that. Well, I knew the roll rights before I started working on the Woking barrows, and I did physical work, clearing saplings, unwanted saplings, and things. So I was physically worked the land there, as well as magically worked the land there. But I knew that I've known the Rollrights for a good few years. It must be a good 25 years I've been visiting. And I always used to go to them at equinox time. That was, twice a year I would visit the Rollrights. And I found them very peaceful, communicative, a lot more than Avebury. I think there's an awful lot of background chatter when you go to the major tourist places. And Stanton Drew circle near 3 circles near Bristol, I particularly liked. I found that I could channel energies there that I hadn't done before. But yeah, I like the Rollrights. Why do you ask?
Ethan, why are you asking? What is your opinion on those? Let's see. It's a funny question to ask if you felt comfortable. Does that mean that you didn't feel comfortable? Oh, she's gone, so maybe she didn't feel comfortable. So what did you get from them? Interesting. Yeah, I think the ones that are really touristy, my God, they must have some, because a lot of people that go there aren't really spiritual. They're just going there for a nose, aren't they? They're just going there because it's a thing.
It's like when you go to Glastonbury, there are energy currents. There's a very deep one that is the natural indigenous energy of the earth. But so many times what we feel is the chatter of the more of a higher plane.
So there was a project some years back at the place which raised some concerns. Oh, okay. And also, interestingly, high levels of radiation. Oh, gosh.
But you get high levels of radiation off certain. Oh, the Dragon Project, yes. Wasn't Caroline Wise involved in that?
Couldn't tell you.
I think she
Maybe
was.
Esom could tell us.
Yeah. Yes. Caroline Wise will probably be watching this broadcast tomorrow.
Yes.
So we'll see what she has to say.
Well, Caroline, if you're watching this in the replay, please do tell us in your comments what your thoughts are.
I don't think that the well, just because there's radiation, just because there's some there are energies there. It's what I was saying, is that you've got to work with what you've got.
That's very true. Very true.
And I have a book that I only discovered it a week or so ago, so I haven't had time to study it. I've flipped through it. Spirits of Place it's a compilation are individual stories. It's edited by John Reppion. I know. I'm sorry that these things come out in mirror image, but you know, if you.
Oh no, that's coming out correct.
Yeah,
it came out correct. Yeah.
And they are individual stories about people working with with spirits of place in different places. And sometimes life puts you in places you'd rather not be. And the first writer was a singer, and she was, her band were asked to play somewhere. I think it was in Poland, and it turned out to be the factory where they manufactured the gas chambers that were used by the Nazis.
Oh gosh.
And basically, she's, as much as you don't want to go into that energy, if life puts you there, you've got to get on with it.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's the same with anything. You've got to there are a lot of energy peaks and troughs wherever you go.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I live 900 feet off a ley line.
Okay.
And it's true what they say about the, you know, there's quite a turnover of houses. The main road has got a ley line down the middle of it. And a lot of people, the houses turn over quite quickly. It takes a special kind of person to live on a ley line because the energies disrupts them. And it's taken me a long, long time to feel comfortable living in this area. I moved here because my then husband got a job around here, and I never really settled. I divorced, and money meant that, you know, I couldn't afford to move, and I've been stuck in the same house ever since. But actually, I kind of like it here now.
Yeah.
And that's, I haven't consciously been going out and saying I've got to work with the energies for where I live, but it's interesting reflecting on things like that. You know, I am probably part of the energetic makeup of the area, you know, at a deeper level than most people get to. As I say, I've been running the local moot for 14 years.
Yes. Didn't get much more involved than that.
Yeah.
And with that, we shall put, if you want that put on there, we can put that in the description. I don't know, an email or whatever it is that you use for some information about your moot, if anybody's interested, or any other information that you would like to put on the description. Let me know, and I'll add it into the description of the broadcast. What's Graham saying? Interesting, as we live on. You live on the ley line as well, and we're all fine here. In your opinion, Graham. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. Only kidding. Right. With that said, let's depart in peace among your habitations. And thank you so much, Suzie. It was a really great talk, and I can't wait for the next one. Do keep in touch. We'll have a little chat about some other stuff. And yes, and thank you so much for coming and being involved in our monthly mystical. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure, Jackie. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I will see you again soon, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening.
Well, there she is. That was so good, right? That was just really good. I really enjoyed that. I just love to hear different aspects of different things. I mean, I've had so many different topics on our monthly mystical. If you've missed any of them, you just need to go and have a little gander. There's all sorts going on there, from all sorts of kind of from different genres and groups and societies and God knows what else. And it's all there. Yeah, so if you're interested, go and have a look at them all. Give them all a like. Please subscribe to the channel. It all helps because we want to get some more lovely magical people on this channel. So please do. And I say this all the time, but I really am going to do some stuff on here very soon. It's just things are a bit hectic. I've got markets. I've got all sorts of rubbish going on. So thank you all for joining this evening. And I will see you all again soon on the Monthly Mystical. Bye for now. Have a lovely evening. Mwah. Bye for now.